Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, bringing you guys another tier list. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. You got the report card video. You're getting a tier list. So it is indeed time for another CDL Major. This time we are going into Major 2, which will be hosted by the Boston Breach, the first team that I click on. No coincidence here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. So getting right into the thick of it, I'm going to put Breach in the A tier. They did make winners bracket. They looked really good in hardpoint. Their control was definitely encouraging. They went 3-2 there. Their S&D was solid. They were 4-3. The game 5s are really the issue for the Boston Breach. So if they can improve on just closing series out earlier, if they can try to get some 4-map series in their tournament, they can definitely make a very, very good run and potentially win the whole thing. I have them as an A tier team. I think they are a top tier team. I have them set for a top 6 finish without a doubt in my mind, but I think they can definitely play up and win the whole thing if they play their cards right. Atlanta Faze is our second team. I have them in the S tier category, even though their hardpoint has been absolutely atrocious with a 3-6 record in stage 2. Their S&D is honestly what has carried them. They won 2 game 5s, one against the LA Guerillas and the other against the Subliners. So Faze looking really good right now, and I think that they will definitely carry that momentum into the weekend. Their first matchup, coincidentally, is against the Boston Breach, and more on that in the next video. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, just watch the next video. I'm not going to waste time talking about it here. Our next team is the Florida Mutineers, a team that can't win a hardpoint. Currently 5-21 in hardpoint on the season. So the map 1 and the map 4 are, question marks. 2-3-5s. They call them the Nesloneers for a reason. That's why I put them in the B tier. I just think that if you are a Neslo specialist team, actually we'll put them in the C tier. Just because their pathway to victory is so tumultuous, I will put them in the C tier. There are a lot of teams that are really solid in control. Atlanta is another team that was very solid in control. They were 3-2 in stage 2. So if you go against a team like Boston Breach, Atlanta Faze, 5-0 team like Toronto Ultra, a team like Optic Texas that's improving considerably in the mode, as long as you don't go up against, let's say, the Seattle Surge, who are also solid in control, they were 3-2 in stage 2. Or I guess the London Royal Ravens and the Vegas Legion are probably your best chances to win controls because everybody else did pretty well across the board. The Ravens, Guerillas, and Paris Legion, of course, were our 3 worst teams in the mode. So if you're the Mutineers, you want to get a God tier matchup against one of those 3 and hope that they don't play map 3 well. Our next team is LA Guerillas, and I have them as a B tier team as it stands right now. The only reason I have them in the B tier, not in the A tier like before, is because their hardpoint is phenomenal. They're 8-2 in the mode, but their S&D is not it. They have a losing record in S&D, and their control, they're 0-5. So if you're not doing well in control and you're not doing well in S&D, I think they might be around 500 in S&D, but it's not like they are consistently winning S&Ds. They had a lot of trouble closing them out also. So, that's why I have the LA Guerillas in the B tier. They have a lot of work to do in 2 game modes that account for 60% of the maps in every series. So that's not encouraging. And B tier is where I put them because they can definitely make improvements. It's a lot of late game stuff and mid-round calls in S&D. They're questionable. Same thing in control. Late round calls, they're a little bit questionable. If they fix those things, they could definitely start winning more maps and more series. But that's a lot to ask in such a short window of time. Next team, LA Thieves, land buff, put them in A. Honestly, the Thieves are one of those teams where when you see their online performance, you just got to kind of chalk it up. And they had a pretty solid online performance. They ended up securing winners bracket, of course, going 2-3. But the Thieves are a land team, so I expect them to make a run at this tournament. And I expect them to secure a top 6 placing. If you count this team out, then you clearly haven't been paying attention. And that's all that can really be said there. The map 1 Merchants, London Royal Ravens. They are currently sitting at 1-4 in control and 1-6 in hardpoint in stage 2. So, only being able to win game 1s is not a pathway to success. They need to figure something out. Actually, we'll put them in D tier just because 1-6 in control, 1-4 in control and 1-6 in search is abysmal. They were 5-3 in hardpoint, one of the better hardpoint teams in stage 2, but having 2-year game modes look that bad and that out of reach is just unacceptable, and that's why I put them in D tier. They got to figure a lot out. The New York Subliners, another S tier team. I put them above Atlanta Faze right now just because their hardpoint pressure is insane. Honestly, Faze's hardpoints look so weak. I doubted putting them in S, but it's just the S&Ds. They're so clinical. If you take these guys to a Game 5, it's going to be rough, and the Game 3 is definitely one that is in their favor as well. They are very good in controlling this game, so that's why I think they're an S-tier team still, just because their S&D and their control is so strong. But the New York Subliners are strong in all 3 game modes. The only thing that I would say that they need to clean up is just not getting off to slow starts, because we saw in their losses in Stage 2, of course losing to Seattle and Faze, they started slow in certain maps. Skies was off in certain maps, Freeze was off in certain maps, and that was really the only thing that could be said for them. Otherwise, it's been pure perfection. So if they can make sure to come out hot, then there's really not a lot to critique in their gameplay. Next team is Optic Texas. I'm going to put them above Faze just because they beat them recently in the head-to-head. I do think Faze is the better team overall, just because Optic Texas admittedly is a new team. It takes time to get comfortable with a new roster, no matter how experienced players are. So I think they will secure a top 4 placing regardless, but I'm not sure if they'll win the whole tournament. That just remains to be seen in terms of their consistency and their map pool. That's the only thing I'm not sure about their map pool. I'm not sure how deep it is. If teams can start beating them consistently in the vetoes, then, there it is. But as it stands, I feel like most of the other teams who are strong on control and control, they're strong on Hotel and Asilo, or, playing Optic on some of their best maps as well. So teams like Faze and New York Subliners, they definitely share a lot of similar favorite maps with Optic Texas, so that's why I have them in the S tier. They win the maps that the S tier teams like to play. So there it is. I think Optic makes a deep run here. Not sure where they place, but I think they make a deep run. Next team is Minnesota Rokkr. I'm going to put them in the second place in A, just because Boston Breach has been so consistent. They've been really a top 6 team all year long. At the beginning of the game, they looked like a top 4 team, possibly a top 3 team. And Boston Breach has just been applying pressure no matter what. They had one hiccup, of course, at the Stage 1 major when Wake got sick, but ever since, they pretty much picked up where they left off. This is a team that's definitely been written off by most of the community in my eyes, just because they're not the most flashy team and they're not beating your best teams in the league all the time. But Boston is definitely the kind of team to watch out for, especially playing at home. So, that's the only reason I put them ahead of Rokkr. Rokkr has been very inconsistent. I still think they're better than Thieves right now in terms of their overall consistency, but Rokkr is one of the more inconsistent teams in the game, it has to be said. So I have them in an A position here, but admittedly it's a little bit unstable, just based on their performances. Seattle, going into the major, I'm going to put them at an A tier team, and I'll tell you why. I put them ahead of Minnesota just because Seattle's respawn has looked incredible. They're 10-6 in control and 18-11 overall in hardpoint. They have the highest win percentage in hardpoint overall in the league right now. So while this team looks absolutely clueless in search, respectfully, they're 4-11, I believe. They are really good at respawn, so that's why I have them as an A-tier team. They got to the finals in the last event, being as poor at search as they were. And, they won one search this entire stage, I believe. I think they won one search. But anyways, they looked really good in the respawns. Their S&D needs work, but honestly, I think they can still beat a lot of these teams if they just sweep the respawns. So it's hard to say that Seattle isn't an A-tier team with the amount of respawn pressure they put on the map, and that's why I have them here as an A-tier team. I just think going into the major, going into LAN, this team is going to be a lot different, and they're going to be a hard beast to, weather. Next up, the Squirrely Boys, the Toronto Ultra, currently our best control team. Honestly, in my opinion, the best hardpoint team right now also. They were sitting a 6-3 record in hardpoint. S&D looked really good. They looked really solid in all 3 game modes. So honestly, Ultra are my favorites to win it all. I think Faze can definitely kick up and win it all. I think Optic can win it all. I think Subliners can win it all. But if you're looking at consistency and form in Stage 2, you would have to argue that the Toronto Ultra, barring that Optic Texas series, look to be the best team in the stage, and that's why they're my favorite to win it all. Last but not least, we have the Vegas Legion, and I'm going to put them in... I'll put them in B tier, just because if you watch the report card video, when I gave Vegas their C+, yes. The issue that I've identified with the Vegas Legion is their late game holds and just their late game situational awareness. That's a hard thing to fix for a team, and I think they can fix it. Definitely showed in their last series against Optic Texas that they have the possibility of just being a really good respawn team. But considering how difficult of an issue that is to fix, it's just hard to put a lot of faith in them fixing it. So that's why I have them in the B tier with the LA Guerillas. I think both of these teams realistically could play up because their respawn has definitely shown signs of being very dominant and close to a breakthrough. But whether or not they can convert, in the case of LA Guerillas, anything other than hard points to success remains to be seen. In the case of Paris Vegas Legion, I'm sorry, if they can close out close games and series, that remains to be seen as well. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. S tier is in order right now in terms of form that I think all teams are in. And this is kind of a formalized top 12 for me. And this is a tier list of how I rank the teams based on their likelihood to beat other teams. So I don't think teams in the A tier necessarily can't beat teams in the S tier, but I do expect teams in the S tier to consistently beat teams in the rungs below. So yeah, guys, that'll about wrap it up for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Don't forget to share with a friend or family member if you found this enjoyable, informational, or just fun to watch. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one, which will be a pick'em going through my bracket. I'm currently top 250 in the world, I think, unless I lost my spot. I was top 70 last week, so I'm climbing, trying to get a good bracket here so I can finish in the money. Yeah, so catch you guys on the next video with that bracket preview. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe like I said before. And I hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night wherever you may be on this beautiful planet. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Once again, this is Chris with Big Sports News, and I am signing off. Peace.